Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you and your entire family is safe from this virus, and as you might have guessed it from the title of this video, can India be the next superpower? And it is not just another question, it is a global question, as there is tremendous amounts of change in world politics right now. Numerous number of MNCs are knocking at the doors of India to let them in so that they can start establishing their manufacturing hubs in this country. There are numerous number of changes with China and their politics as well, numerous number of changes in world politics at the World Trade Center, everything regarding business. There are a lot of changes happening in the world right now. Who can be the beneficiary of this? Is it India? Is it Vietnam? What are the other Asian countries which are going to be benefited by this? Numerous number of questions to be answered, but the biggest question that most of the Indians are concerned about: can India be the next superpower? And it is not just a raw question. Is this economically viable? That is what we are going to try and find out in this video. So I have split the entire video into two parts. Firstly, we will look into China's problems right now. There are numerous number of political issues and economical issues that the country is facing. And how could this benefit India? Is there a possibility of this shifting attention from China to India, or is it already happening? There are numerous number of questions to be answered. First of all, let us look into what China is facing at an international level. That will automatically map to what's happening with its economy and how it will impact the rest of the countries as well. So without any further ado, let's dive into the video. First off, I'd like to start with the number one country which is pressurizing a lot of China, the United States of America. Donald Trump publicly stated that the virus is actually from Wuhan's Institute of Virology. There are one of those things that could have happened. Either they created the virus or they just let it spread. But anyway, he has kept these two accusations against China, and he in fact mentioned that he has seen the evidence for it, but he cannot present them publicly. The Western media raised up questions after questions after he addressed the press at the White House. And it is not just America which is against China. Donald Trump also mentioned that the World Health Organization acts as a public relationship agency to China. And it is not just America which is against China. The European Union has made a decision collectively about the talks of exiting China. And Australia has joined forces with America as well. And this is just one of the ongoing global problems that China is facing right now. Numerous number of issues and accusations are kept against China. So the next thing which has to be cautiously noted here is the trade deficit between America and China, the Phase 1 agreement. So what is the trade deficit? So basically, America imports a lot of stuff from China, which means that America is paying a lot of money to China, whereas China imports very less from America, which means that China is paying a lot lesser than what America is paying to China. So this is what basically trade deficit means. The trade deficit between America and China is a whooping 360 billion US dollars. So in order to tackle this problem, both China and America signed an agreement in January called as the Phase 1 agreement. And according to the Phase 1 agreement, China is obligated to buy $200 billion of worth of products from America and has to pay the money back to America, or else the trade war will start. When Donald Trump was questioned about it, he said that China better oblige to the contract which was signed between them. If not, the Phase 1 agreement will be cancelled and a lot of economical ban will be imposed on China. Now that is quite a serious threat to the country's economy. The number two problem that they have right now is a lot of companies are trying to exit China. I'll just give you one example. Japan recently announced that they will spend 2,000 million American dollars to get their companies out of China. They basically said to all the Japanese companies which are operating in China that doesn't matter how much loss that you incur, the government of Japan will take care of that. We are ready to invest 2,000 million USDs to bring the Japanese companies out of China, exit China irrespective of what happens. Now that is the level of problem that China is facing right now. Australia, America, Japan, a lot more countries says one thing: exit China. make China pay and hold them accountable for what the world is suffering right now. A lot of countries have joined hands against China. The next biggest problem they have right now is with Malaysia over disputed waters in the South China Sea. So basically, Malaysia and China are fighting over to whom this place belongs to, the ownership of that place. It's said that the place has a lot of natural resources, oil basically, and it's a very conflicted situation right there. And to know what's going on, US warships have entered the South China Sea, surveillance basically, and in aid of them, Australia has sent their naval fleet as well, and in fact even Vietnam stands with America in this issue. So this is the situation that they are facing in South China Sea right now. But the biggest issue of them all, the biggest problem that China is having right now is the 16-page report which was released officially by the Five Eyes organization. For the ones who don't know what Five Eyes organizations are, it is basically an intelligence sharing agency formed between 5 native English speaking countries such as USA, UK, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. So it was formed after World War II between USA and UK to spy on Soviet Russia. It's a whole story by itself on which someday I'll make a video on Five Eyes organization. But right now they have officially released a report saying that China had absolute knowledge about this virus. In fact, they even knew about the genetic material of this virus, but they tried to cover it up as much as possible to save their reputation. And China is completely answerable for this. They basically said that we have all the evidence to show that China is responsible for this virus and what the world is suffering right now. So all these are not just another problem for China. It is not just one organization. It is not just one country which is against China. A lot of organizations and countries are against China and they all have a common goal: make China pay, exit China. A lot of countries and companies are interested in China because of their manufacturing capabilities. They have all established their manufacturing hubs in China and have been producing their products for more than 2 decades. And all of this could be in serious trouble if things don't go right for China. But that doesn't matter to the companies which require manufacturing. So they will start looking for an alternative country. So who could be an economic beneficiary of all this? Which country comes close to China? So which country can act up as an alternative? India. And to say the least, more than 1,000 manufacturing firms have approached India seeking their help, knocked at their doors and asked, if we come to your country, will you be able to help us in setting up our manufacturing hubs in your country? And almost 200 to 300 companies are confirmed to come to India after this whole lockdown situation is over. But is all of this possible? Is it economically viable? Can India become one of the biggest economical superpowers in the next decade? Well, as I previously mentioned in the introduction, I have split this video into 2 parts. Now that we have seen all the international issues that China is facing, it has led us to understanding the future economical problems and the current economical problems that their country is facing right now. In the next video, I will explain how India can be the next economical superpower. If it happens, how can it happen? So stay tuned to my channel, and until I see you again in my next video, take care, stay home, stay safe.
I'ma take it. Take it.